In this video, we are going to explore what is meant by cross-polar discrimination or XPD. Here, this X represents the cross-polar. So, this cross-polar discrimination actually indicates the purity of the received signal. So, let's consider a receiver antenna system. For a perfect reception, we know that the polarization of the receiver antenna and the polarization of the incident wave should match. So, that is the actual requirement. If we are designing an antenna, we are designing for that purpose only. That means that if we are designing a horizontally polarized antenna, our requirement is it should only accept the horizontally polarized wave. But in some cases, due to issues in antenna design, manufacturing quality, alignment of this antenna issues, or environmental impact, this will not be the case. That means that a horizontally polarized antenna will accept both horizontal components and vertical components. So that means that it will be accepting the desired signal and the unwanted signal. So let's see what is meant by these copolar and cross-polar components. So the copolar component is the part of the electric field of the received wave which has the same polarization as that of our receiving antenna. And cross-polar component is the undesired signal. That means that it has the orthogonal polarization as that of the receiving antenna. So if our antenna is designed for the horizontally polarized wave reception, our copolar signal is horizontally polarized signal and our cross-polar signal is vertically polarized signal. So this is our desired signal. This is called copolar signal, and the undesired signal or the noise is known as the cross-polar signal. So if we are designing an antenna, our main requirement is it should receive maximum copolar signal and it should reject this cross-polar components. So let's see what is the co and cross-polar components for different linear and circular polarization types. If our antenna is intended for the vertical polarization, the cross-polar component is horizontally polarized wave. If it is intended for horizontal polarization, the cross-polar or orthogonal component is vertical polarization. For right-hand circular polarization, it is LHCP. For LHCP, it is RHCP. So this is the desired component and this is the undesired component or noise. So the cross-polar discrimination is the figure of merit used to quantify the ability of a receiving antenna to reject these cross-polar component. So it is defined as the ratio of copolar component to the cross-polar component. So in dB, it is equal to 20 log 10 of E co by E cross in dB. That means that if an antenna has a cross-polar component of high value, that means that it will be receiving mostly the copolar component and it will be receiving only less part of cross-polar component. That is our desired quality of an antenna. So if an antenna has a high uh, XPD value like 20 dB or greater, it means that antenna has good capability to reject the cross-polar component and that is our requirement. So cross-polar discrimination is a factor which gives an indication about the antenna receiving purity. So if it is receiving very less cross-polar component, XPD value is very high and that is the desired characteristics of an antenna. I hope you get some idea about what is meant by cross-polar discrimination. If you find any of our videos useful, kindly like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.